No, I got a little picture. That's all sound good. But you guys are set. I gotta go. Okay. That's cool. All right. Thank you so much, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah.
You gotta get the game. All right. Yeah, here's coming. Holy God, making all of this. Oh, I just got it. Appreciate it. Hey, this is. It's good. How you doing, Chris?
How are you?
Doing great, thanks. So are you part of town Charlottesville, the group you're?
So we are duly funded by the city of Charlottesville and so we're technically Albemarle Town employees, but we represent the whole city and the county and get funded. So it makes a little bit more sense to represent those two together. It's kind of stay in the city for the wineries in the county and vice versa.
Yeah, although I didn't think there is an act that had your minutes, so it's.
Yeah. Chair, vice chair.
Oh, right, chair, vice chair.
Oh, my God. We'll get the entire next time.
I want to make sure it's.
Yeah, that's great here. You're a lot.
That's the only way to get the move.
Yeah.
I got that well, that's what I use.
So I have I'll bring the meeting to order. But I have a copy of the minutes, I need to bring copies of the minutes.
Well, I might help. Like that, well,
So good, I need to.
You're welcome to read along with me too.
Did you email it out, everyone?
yeah,
Yeah, Bill,
that's the point.
Oh, okay.
back on the 11th.
All right, yeah, I have that, I have that.
And Chris Ritter is here with us. Because if everybody doesn't know Chris, you're the destination development manager for Charlottesville, Albemarle Convention and District Fair.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
In Charlottesville, yeah.
And we had been working with you on the grant for the dock and potentially other areas.
Might be.
So we're gonna run through minutes now, and first one, Barry, Garnett.
Yeah, so got a few copies to pass around. It's still in a little bit of a draft form. But I'm getting a lot more of the big elements on it. We got two there and one. Right? Okay. So
That's
to
good.
remind everybody, we want this map to do three things. First of all, it's gonna be a printout that people will be able to pick up from the kiosk. The second one, it will be a JPEG or a PDF linked to the Scottsville website, so anybody who goes to the CNA page can look at it and download it. And the third thing is, it will go on a horizontal landscape size kiosk.
Well, what? That's good.
So, considering the fact that this is portraits, we have some room on the kiosk to fill out some other things. So if some details can't be on the initial map, they can be alongside on all the different kiosks. So, got a lot more of the really good items on there. Especially the emergency information and the GPS. And I've got that GPS, so I downloaded the page from the website, and what they wrote was access and parking, the closest GPS address is the driveway to Nature and Lake is 253 Hardware Street. So I'm like, so I took that from their verbiage, our verbiage, which is already there. And the emergency, frankly, it is dial 911. So trying to get something on there to make people aware. Meanwhile, bottom right corner, we have the Scottsville logo. We've got a web address, we've got a QR code that brings us back to this page, and we got a town. Like, we're covering our bases there. Yeah, so I went ahead and finally got all of the trails hiked. It took me a while to do that. And oh gosh, that overlook trail,
Yeah.
frankly, it should have a no trespassing sign.
Somebody comes and fell on it one time, but
Yeah.
it's manageable, but you gotta be
It's
careful.
good,
It's
it's for
slow.
all the seasons.
Right.
Right, I almost slipped on the days, I mean, this is hiking season,
Yeah.
so.
How much work would it take to clear that up?
Yeah, I don't
I
know,
think it'll take a lot.
but the good news is, yeah,
It's done,
the
because
good
I've
news,
looked at it for off and on for a year, but I can't get the slopes down.
yeah.
That's hard.
So an adjacent thing is I've made a contact with Alamo County Parks and Recs. I'm hoping for this guy Tucker to come down here and hike some of these trails with a few of us and give us their take, so. We are playing phone tag and email tag, but I've invited him down, so. Anyway, so I have the approximate mileage and none of the trails are that long.
I know, that's great.
I forgot that. So I went ahead and used the intermediate, difficult, and easy that we had already seen on some of the map apps that are out there. And currently my, 0 to 500 feet isn't exactly the scale, but I think that's what I'll be using.
Well, yeah, when you put it together, though, it adds up, a lot of these are connected, so, you could get a mile or two just by.
Right, oh, yeah.
Well,
So,
I just want to ask you about the Mink Creek Trail,
Mhm.
that's, I think, a little misleading, but a little bit confusing, because it says, 3/10 of a mile, but then the Mink Creek Trail continues on and on and on, so it might,
right,
that might be not correct, but the Mink Creek Trail maybe to the fishing dock is, 3/10 of a mile,
right,
but when you go on,
good point, Yeah.
so that's, that one you might want to leave 3/10, or maybe make it 3/10 to, a mile, or 2
Yeah.
miles, or whatever,
yeah.
where it ends at the property line.
Right. Well, so that's a good point, and literally the background of this image is still the placeholder, I have the other
Right.
one in process. And Luke DuPont, who's doing the scaling now, he and I also, we've had a lot of really good conversations, and wants to be involved and help with this map process and. Anyway, he and I can't meet till tomorrow. He'll come to my house and we can nail out those final details. But the idea is that looking at some of these older maps that I've used as reference, is that we want the topo lines, so.
Oh, yeah,
We're gonna get that, they'll be on there, I just couldn't get a
Sure.
printed version of that on there. But that's a good point about the length of the matrix.
Oh, nice. This
Because-
alone would be put up there now, isn't it?
Yeah, because there isn't any start stop.
Yeah,
And so we probably should establish that, and that would be a good thing to put from Trailhead, Jefferson Street to, Eagle Trail, Trailhead. You know what I mean? Like, so that would be a good thing, to have like underneath the information on that Mink Creek Trail. So I was happy to get like also the blue diamond, the blue squares, the black diamonds, and the blue circles on there. I got 3 kiosks on there. There are more, I didn't really, so I found the one at the top by the Bateau Trail, I found the one by Jackson Street, and of course there's the one at the trailhead to, yeah, I'm not Main Street. So that text that I have over by the Oak Hill Trailhead, Jefferson Street by Doug's McKay. In a great world, I wouldn't necessarily want to list a business name there.
no.
But we've been talking about there's no signage, there's nothing that gets, and it frankly is a business that's been there for a long time, so I
So
think we could use
I
that.
don't know if Doug's gonna care, but to me, it's just free advertising.
Yeah,
I mean, it takes nothing to do, I can stuff.
yeah, I hadn't gotten it, so yeah, that's a good point.
And
That's a good
everybody
point.
else.
I know.
Or you could buy like the mural.
But people don't know about the new.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a very good point, so, anyway, I think these are more of the highlights, there's, more to be done, but you all can keep those copies and.
How big is how big is the large map for the dimensions of that?
I haven't officially measured it, but I gotta get this one nailed down and then figure out how we're scaling
The
it.
reason I ask is you know, the kiosk in Jackson, near Jackson, in the parking lot.
Uh-huh,
I think that map should be a little smaller, because I think it'd be good to have a town map there too.
oh, yeah, I mean,
You know, and
It's
that's
town
not really a trailhead.
yeah,
You know, the other two are trailheads, and those should be front and center, but,
yeah, good point,
and the other thing, we could actually probably put a map on the kiosk at the stand, that's the town,
Right.
that's a town.
right,
kiosk.
right, yeah,
So we
that's
got
the,
three
yeah,
large maps and one medium sized one, I'm thinking, and then a bunch of these.
yeah.
Um,
So, I also,
The reason I'm asking too is, I'll ask the town about money and stuff for this and make sure it's available.
yeah, yeah, well, to that point, I was actually going to do that, obviously, I've spoken with, Javier, we can use the town copier to make
Yes,
those copies of that part's done. But one thing to consider is that when you're getting multiple copies, if we're going to a signage company,
Mhm.
it's gonna be cheaper to get 4 that are the identical
Yeah.
size versus
Good
2
point.
size 2 and up. That's the only thing.
what would you, what it is?
Yeah, I think they would need to be laminated. We don't have any of our kiosks under glass. But remember, there's a front and a back to both of them, so there's plenty
Right,
of town maps and things we can put up there.
Yeah.
Obviously, the biggest thing on the front, because that's where they,
sounds great,
yeah, so I'm happy with the progress, and I think meeting with Luke tomorrow,
yeah.
we can nail out, a
It's
few more
important.
things, but I was gonna go ahead and start reaching out to the different signage companies that I've used in the past, and just get some,
Really good.
you know, some bids or some estimates. And then
Yeah, no, it's
we'll
great.
figure out how much we need.
And you got, let's see, the scan in here.
Yeah. Yeah,
The one thing is the colors.
Right.
The color legend,
Colors,
so
right.
orange versus
yeah,
blue.
That's a good idea, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Doug said it's okay to use his.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, for more detail taken care of, so. Oh yeah, so one thing I did wanna point out, cause I mentioned to Bill last time in relation to this, we talked about the rules. So I did notice on the town website that they have a lot more information, and I think it came from whoever the fish and wildlife people are, because a lot of it has to do with the fishing and trout fishing in the lake and fishing license information. So that's really good information that I think, I don't, you know, I understand a simplified version that just has the can do, can't do stuff. But I'm wondering whether we wanna do a combined, version, yeah, and the QR code can take people,
Take you right to it,
right,
right? So you can say for more details,
right.
hit that, you know,
Yeah,
scan them.
yeah. Anyway, I had, once I started reading, I was like, oh, there's actually, we've written a whole lot of information. So these are the highlights, and that's the more information, so.
It's a minor thing, but you know, the picnic table where,
Oh, yeah.
when it says Link Creek Trail,
Yeah,
that actually should be ended at, there's 2 of them down there now, it's not at the fishing dock, it's further down, but.
yeah,
And
I know, so-
we're also thinking of putting one over there at the entrance way.
okay, yeah, I know.
Under that beach, we used to have one there, under that
Right.
beach tree.
Right, yeah.
Right by the Oceanville area.
Right.
It's a real pretty place.
right,
And when we talked about moving it, we could get another table too, we could say if we want, but
right,
if we want to get any more tables. we
Yeah.
can do that. But you definitely need one there, there used to be one there, and one of the neighbors said, I used to go there every day, to just have my coffee or tea.
Yeah.
And it's right near the, right along the
Right.
creek, real pretty place.
oh, I like it, yeah.
Where, and we get off topic, but where are the tables now? I mean, I know, yeah, we are in the park, but we
You
have
know,
all
they're all, and they've been there forever, it's been a problem forever,
okay.
they're not supposed to be
Top of
stored
the
there.
pavilion, right? Is that
Yeah.
right? In that
And
store,
they probably should store them, I think they should probably store them either at the,
South out,
at the top of the hill there, yeah, where they, you know, where we have it up there, or
yeah,
move a
Yeah.
couple of them over to the.
Yeah.
elevations.
What kind of condition are they?
Most are pretty decent, there's a couple that are pretty bad, yeah,
They've never water sealed them or anything.
Yeah.
they be stained,
they should be, or painted, yeah, I mean.
painted like a forest
Yeah,
green.
yeah. The ones that are there now, at least 1 or 2 were donated years ago, and they have actually names on them, you know, who donated them. But, and they're bigger and heavier. These, I think, are manageable, you know.
yeah,
The town bought a bunch of them, you know. and they-
yeah. Well, that's a good point, and my kind of, sky high view is that this is not the gospel.
Right.
This is getting people close enough.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting people started, and then they're gonna have to use their wherewithal to be walking and finding it.
Mm.
Plus, it's hard to get a little simple down here, two of them, if there's two, that's what, so, I love the idea of the future one going back where I thought I remember seeing one before and walking up to that spillway area, so, but yeah, I had, my husband was taking issue with the way I drew something, I'm like, honestly, we just need to get close enough.
Yeah.
Because there are other sources for people to be using and walking and hiking.
This is a lot better than nothing what we have right now.
Right.
So, and I think it's-
And it's fantastic. So,
Yeah.
Good, great, yeah.
Yeah,
I like it. Brian, you gonna be around? Saturday morning? Just got the truck.
Maybe, or just,
Okay,
you
never mind.
know, for.
You do another day on Wednesday. Never mind.
Might be this morning if I'm not, but I was actually thinking, I don't know what time the game starts Sunday, but maybe sometime Sunday.
Not available.
Saturday.
So then it's just like it's Sunday's off.
Okay.
That's right, but you only taking one, because it's a mid-size truck.
I don't need to one at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking if it was Brian and I, we both just of the table or two and the other, just move it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually going to do tomorrow, I pretty sure.
Tomorrow, we're ready to Friday. I got a walk through at 4 o'clock and I'm late for pretty sure. So anytime before that, it's fine.
Okay, I mean, I'll text you if I have free time, and Bill will be with you. Okay.
I'll be sure where it's likely to go to.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we can get a vehicle over that bridge.
I don't know.
We're not hunting it that far.
yeah,
They're going right over the bridge anyway, so
Yeah.
we should be fine.
Awesome, so,
That's not great.
do we think for the next meeting?
give me a deadline.
Yeah,
I really work with deadlines, like, I will work right up to them, but like, please, somebody know, give me a
we're
deadline.
not gonna be meeting right, we're heading into spring, so I'm thinking.
Yeah.
March first, drop dead, let's look at something posted. Cause I can make people just said here, if we put this up,
Yeah,
you know.
it's close enough,
Fine, and over the next 2 months, it will
Right.
deteriorate, but we can do the other things, if somebody can walk.
right, March first, I like it.
I'll give them-
No date needed, but
You know, the line saying no.
okay.
Our next meeting is, it's the first.
Yeah, and it's before
Yeah,
the
so it's
game,
March
plenty of
7th.
time, so,
Okay.
That sounds great.
Alright, the next one related to the POS two is the park rules. And we have a draft of the park rules, already.
Yeah.
Oh, and you made them like the other ones.
yeah, so that's why I brought up the fact that the website had a lot more information, and I love the idea of keeping it simple. But on the kiosk, there will be more room, so we can write all the fishing information. We could have a little something right
Right.
there, so, but yeah, this was basically what. Yeah, we described before, which was, town of Scottsville rules, may include nature, park hours 6 a.m. to dusk. Dogs are allowed on leash only, prohibited camping, fires, hunting, firearms, alcohol, swimming, motorized vehicles, and that was what. Yeah, what you brought last.
This is the net, and I think we should separate hunting and firearms, because you get bow hunters, you get.
Alright.
And then, if somebody wants to say, oh, well, I didn't know, that's just what was there my bow.
Okay.
And I don't know if there's something more generic used for. Shooting.
Yeah.
Well, just so you know, it is absolutely illegal to discharge a firearm down in Scottsville.
Right.
Yeah.
So even if you're defending yourself.
Yeah, I wish my neighbors.
It's like issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
So you're gonna print those out,
Yeah.
and they probably need to be laminated too, don't they?
Right, but that's an easier thing to do.
Yeah, the
Look
rules
at
should
the
be-
thing, we can get these language, very easy.
Well, the town should have money for that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, should we get to that point,
Yeah.
town, so.
And the park committee has some,
How often does the game commission check the area for, people fishing illegally?
I don't think they should much at all.
No, it's that the game guy checks the fishing quite often.
Does it?
Yeah, because it's right here, you come right up the road.
They check it or they just drop off the fish?
No, they come and check.
I've never seen it.
Yeah. I think
Do they look at your licenses or something?
absolutely.
Sure.
Because now that they're down here, I just come out, the road and check up here, yeah.
Oh,
They're pretty strict about the trout stuff. They're always looking for the trout stuff.
I did see somebody pull a trout out because that.
oh, yeah. Saturday, they're doing 7 times a year.
They don't tell you when they start.
Yeah, they don't.
They're posted afterwards.
Yeah, they post on the website.
Yeah,
Oh, they do.
Yeah, and Chris, this may be something, just as far as rules go, if there's something, egregious that we're missing, we'll do that. We were just looking for something kind of basic and look at it.
I'll check with return and keep up stuff.
Yeah, I think this, that looks. As much input and information as I have in background, I think that looks great, so.
All right, and this may be, Bill contacted Bob, right, to share the plats and boundary lines. The one thing we found out is the little trail goes within boundaries, which is good, but I'm not sure what else we're doing with that other than he offered to
Well,
walk it.
the other thing I thought it would be good to have is some like rivers on the main creek trail, so we know where that ends and where,
Do we know where that ends?
Yeah. I
Well,
think we know.
certainly,
The public doesn't know.
now, at this moment, we do not. know. And that's why I thought it'd be good to mark the property.
Yeah.
If we have the surveyor
Okay,
willing to do that.
He's willing to do that.
That's hoping,
okay,
it'd be incredibly helpful to mark everything. I mean, this way we just know.
Well, the stakes are there, but I don't think you can see them real well. Some of the stakes, and especially on the land we got for the.
Yeah, but if he's willing to come out.
Yeah.
And mark it with us, it's
So
an opportunity.
he eventually wanted that strength.
Yeah.
okay. So the kind of the new action on 3 then is marking where Meat Creek Trail ends and ultimately doing the walk.
Yeah, right.
But marking the boundaries, yeah.
Right.
He's willing to do that, it's a great opportunity. And that would, even like with Overlook, how far up does it go? Whose power pole is down on the ground?
That's dangerous, right? When I was up cutting trees, that's power.
That's power line.
It's not a power.
No.
It's some kind of phone or
Full
something
line.
like that. But no one's claiming, that's,
Yeah.
remember I took
It's bad.
It's on the Overlook Trail,
Oh,
and it's literally, it's like, I mean, it's a.
well, you never see me out there
Right now.
on that overlook.
No, no,
I would not listen.
Yeah.
but let's see.
I can start me from going down.
That's what you do, move that, I don't know how I'm gonna follow the meat.
Yeah,
But, I mean, maybe we can do it ourselves, but I don't know if it's even operable, that phone line.
I'm not touching anything.
No,
Yeah.
not either.
It's a power company, I mean, it's a phone,
I know, but
phone pole, someone needs to finally pony up and say it's ours, but no one seems to want to take credit for it. But until that.
so it's out, have a town contact them again?
Absolutely.
Is that what it down to last time you called them?
I think Jack Maxwell tried to track that down.
Yeah, he even told me about it.
Yeah, he tried to.
I saw it, and he found out it was a phone line.
Yeah, he was talking to me about it, but, we don't know how far that went, but someone needs to take credit for it. You never touch it down line.
Okay, so Matthew, you had tried to contact Part SWA on the maintenance, and they had that back to you.
Well, with the, forest sewer line, that's not there.
Okay.
They've come back with that, it's not their thing. So our new maintenance guy can do mowing and stuff like that, we're more than welcome to move,
Okay,
but they're not gonna keep a trail. They just need access to be able to get in there if there's a problem.
okay, so it's their easement, but they're not maintaining, it, was what you're saying.
They're not maintaining it for us to find out.
Right,
I thought they used to, they don't do it. Because I thought they did it because they would have their access.
I get that, what he was saying was they go through occasionally and cut trees, or anything that pops up,
Oh,
they're not gonna
trees.
come in and mow it
Right.
every 2 months to make sure the grass is short enough for, that's not their job.
yeah, one of their, cats out there is starting to fall apart,
But that's what
Yeah,
they
so
do, they'll go through and maintain it, meaning inspect it on their trailers, but not the jobs, not to maintain it for recreation.
But if our maintenance guy goes out and does it, we're not making fun.
And their understanding was that's what was going on.
So. It's a summer issue, but
Well, it's just like the one going through the bamboo. You know, they're like, we got the bamboo, it'll break, you know. They love it. But no, they're not gonna do that. So they did get that far.
Number 5 says there's solutions to maintenance development on some of the trails that should be addressed, find clear to fallen trees off overlook, but that trail is a challenge and will be noted as so on PS, which we did. You know, I still think there's we saw an opportunity to clean that up a little bit. It's always been difficult. The terrain is just, it's going good, right? But you can level it a little bit so you're not sideways. It'll still wash out. But yeah, it's just gonna be difficult, right?
I think whatever work you did would wind up probably creating problems.
I don't disagree.
I mean, that's just our challenging. That's a very difficult trail, and that's for people who can deal with it.
Yeah, it's like we flag it, so.
What about the Batek Trail? That's the one that I had issues going up because of the gully.
Yeah, I agree, and I spoke with Nancy Gill about that, because she's somebody who's pounding those same things. And I struggle to call it, easy also, because like you're saying, it's just, it's.
Yeah, I
a big- But they are
I had a hard
the
time, I
bugs.
had to go up in the
Yeah.
woods to get
Yeah.
around.
Yeah,
At least make it in.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
trail I was talking about.
Yeah, and then that's the gravel one going up.
No,
No,
no, it's still,
it has a big height.
it's this.
Oh, to the right, okay.
Exactly, it feels like it's almost like a straight, yeah, the culvert, there's a culvert just sitting, hanging out.
On the elevation's
Doing
pretty.
anything. It is,
Yeah.
well, I challenged myself.
yeah,
They're saying, I'm making it easy, what you mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even know if it should be a trail.
What are you saying?
Some of the trails in there, especially that, are definitely, there's a waterfall line, that's what we wrong.
So are we gonna change it in our review then?
But definitely.
Okay, let's change it. Somebody takes issue with what we want to have the conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say this, so, you know. Fish and food. No, no,
Actually, in the spring, I'm gonna get out all that.
All right, well, I'm gonna close out number 5 and start it over, right, again, we thought it was down. I think they can still do that in the area, but overlook. Double wide diamond.
all right.
Yeah, since you made one.
Right, we're gonna do picnic tables, I'll do a check on that one, and see if we can do some of that tomorrow afternoon. They discussed making, ideas of making dock parts accessible. So on this one, we have, this is the maintenance. This is the dock out there that's supposed to be handicap accessible. And I did get a response back from the Docks of the Bay. Gentlemen, they just said the solution is putting a transition plate in, we've already not there quote. And we're waiting to hear back on whether or not we want to speak it. So I did go back to him and say, basically, I can do this, and the firm's gone, I didn't do that first. So, I haven't gotten a response back. I'll call the phone number, it says we're really busy, send me an email. So I'll ping him a little bit more before we.
When you think about it, it is a problem. Anyone could trip
Sure.
over that, 5-inch pieces sticking up.
Yeah, it is a step, and I don't know if it's within compliance with, non-handicap access, but, it certainly was put in as a, something that was there for people that,
So red
is right, and it's too long, yeah, so it's not right.
Yeah.
We'll see if we're gonna go further with that or not, but asking the direct question. All right, do you know what the quote was? Yeah, it's $4,500.
$4,500.
And he actually said, he said the town can source the ramps and install on their own, which may save some money. Since we are located about 3 hours away, a local welder or metal works company could likely fabricate and install. So. And he's basically saying, either way, I'll do it, or you can go to it, yeah, it's not my problem.
Right.
Alright, this one's the prime over in communications. Chris. Ritter, committee, finding about the grant, I think we already closed on the grant last time.
Yeah, and if it's okay, I can speak a bit on that and speak a bit on, I guess why I'm here as well. I'm with the Visitors Bureau, and specifically am working with outdoor recreation stakeholders in the area. We came down here last November for our Drive Outdoor grant initial meeting, and we had a number of stakeholders from all over the area here to discuss. That grant process was a bit tedious for us, and as a destination marketing organization, we were hoping to be able to utilize it to market outdoor recreation in the area, but unfortunately that wasn't an option. And there was a lot of restrictions within that grant. But one of them also being, they pretty much made it impossible for capital improvements to be made. And so that's why we had initially looked at adding additional access to the boat ramp. Matt had a pretty in-depth plan prior. And then once DWR came here and we had those discussions, it made it pretty evident that was not gonna be a great idea with the power of the hydraulics coming around that curve and such. And that was basically just because that would be something we could buy in place in there. And then we came and did a walk through Van Cleef because I saw in the master plan that there was hopes eventually to try to make that more accessible. And that is definitely a large focus of our Visitors Bureau, is making tourism welcoming for all and able for all, regardless of mobility, regardless of background, money, all those things. And unfortunately, just still continually with the restrictions that they had, it's like we could have maybe provided one very small piece of what it would take to do something like that, but it was going to require additional financial input from the town, which would probably be a lot more substantial. Just because of kind of what the terrain looks like back there, to get anything that's going to be useful for people with disabilities, it's going to probably require quite a bit of bench cutting, quite a bit of design, engineering, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so unfortunately, we just really weren't able to make that grant work for a project down here. But that being said, the reason I wanted to come down here and talk with you all is, part of my goal is to work with everybody and figure out what the outdoor recreation assets are and, continue to keep these conversations going. And I think that there are a lot of additional grants that are going to be much more catered towards making some improvements like that available, that are not the VTC grant. In that being said, it kind of requires a really good plan of how you would, of what you want to achieve and how you look to get there, and what steps a grant could be utilized for to help out with. So yeah, I'm just here to kind of get a good idea of what you guys are working on, and I can be as involved or as uninvolved as you want me to. From a tourism standpoint, I have a little bit of a different perspective as well. I've actually been involved with a number of outdoor recreation companies, as well as a number of outdoor recreation like trail nonprofit organizations and throughout the US. So I have a little bit of background in that world. I've sent a couple of kind of good training information as well. American Trails is a great website that does a lot of webinars that talks about accessibility in outdoor recreation areas. They talk a lot about how to get communities together to back a lot of these projects, how to have certain discussions, or what to be kind of aware of in certain projects. So, that's a great asset. And basically, I'm just here to, like I said, be as involved as you want me to and provide information where I can, if I feel there's a grant that might be well suited. There probably won't be a ton of options coming from the Virginia Tourism Corporation, other than maybe like helping local outdoor recreation businesses. They're definitely, they have grants for things such as that, as well as like events, so if to that, we'll apply. But like DCR, Virginia Outdoors Foundation, and even more will have options that will help cater towards improving accessibility in some of these areas. And then there are also a number of grants for printing out there that kind of help with like programming, getting, more youth into the, outside and enjoying and all that kind of stuff as well. So, yeah, that's kind of, what I'm doing here, I guess, and we do quite a bit as well to try to highlight. We've recently partnered with a company called Ride GPS to kind of provide very detailed, like maps of certain routes throughout the city and the county, and you could definitely do one, for Van Cleef. Just to kind of try to get some more eyes on it as well. They're very much catered towards beginners because those are usually people who are looking for that information. If there's somebody who's an expert trail user, they probably already have the apps and the things needed to figure out about this. But yeah, that's kind of what I've got, and I just wanted to try to get down here and meet with all of you and make sure I knew exactly kind of what the goals were of the committee and all that, so.
And we're glad to have you, and the goal of your organization is to get more people to come into the Charlottesville, Albemarle area.
Yeah, we're funded by the transient occupancy tax, so overnight stays in the hotels and accommodations. But that being said, that's not, like, our only focus is not to just drive overnight visitation. Like, there are other indirect things that will help drive that as well, so.
It sounds a good part of this, you're kind of now being more familiar with the town and checking everything out. Whatever pops up, we're on the radar now.
Yeah.
Before, 4 or 5 years ago, we weren't, unless I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, well, and then I just started 3 years ago too, so like, one of the main focuses when I came in was making sure that we were involved in Scottsville with conversations, and so I can't really speak to what happened prior.
Right,
So
it wasn't us, like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean, I'm saying the good part is.
Yeah.
We've been struggling with making sure Albemarle County understands we exist,
Mhm,
because all our tax money goes to them.
mhm.
And yet we were sectioned off with, well, you're the town, you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Well, you give us back our property taxes.
Yeah,
So we are part of the county, we do pay our dues, so it's really good to be able to get people aware of what we've got here in the county.
yeah, and I would say, our mobile visitor centers come down here on Saturdays. The market, we come down for the Bateau Festival event as well. And then I would also just recommend, with us coming down here, I think there are likely partnerships and conversations that could be had with other local groups throughout the Charlottesville area as well, where, dedicated, including trail, dedicated, including outdoor recreation. I think there's, rising water will rise all ships, and I think there's opportunities for conversations to be had within all of the areas.
And I guess my point is that with you being aware of what we've got going on, you become, in a sense, an advocate for us also, so that we don't miss opportunities like the grant or things here. Now that you see the trails and stuff, you go, oh, well, that one actually worked really well there versus. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a great idea, but sorry,
Yeah,
wildlife says no way, so,
the Van Cleef Nature Area is a great little spot, but it definitely has challenges, definitely in the ways of making it accessible. And then also like trail maintenance over time, trail sustainability.
And those are our 2 major goals.
Yeah.
And they may be 10 years or more. It's already been 8 years, but they haven't made too much progress with the maintenance or the handicap accessible. And it's never been designed to be totally handicap accessible, but it could be partial.
Well, hopefully our new maintenance person, whoever that might be, will get back and getting involved, because I know when Davey was here,
Yeah.
he took care of a lot in the park.
Are there any volunteers or volunteer groups that do any kind of work on the trails wall?
Right here.
They haven't been activated recently.
Okay.
No, no, it's been a hit and miss over the years, you know, they just put out something and
Yeah.
it hasn't been right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why we
it's
started
illegal,
this
yeah,
committee.
we met like 3 or 4
Yeah, we
times.
just, we got,
Yeah.
So we're starting again, we're picking up a lot of really great work that's been done, as you mentioned, the master plan, so, you know, we didn't have it. We're starting again.
Yeah, and that seems to be kind of what I see, at least in this area, is that even in Charlottesville and Albemarle County, the Parks and Rec departments don't have a ton of funding,
Yeah.
especially for building and even maintaining trails. But a lot of those nonprofit organizations like Canvas, like RTF, are kind of picking that up and taking it on themselves to help pay for and design and build and maintain new trails.
Are you involved with that trail off of Avon Street extent,
Biscuit Run?
Biscuit Run? Are you involved with that?
I'm aware of it, but the county's kind of the
State park,
big
isn't it?
It's
Officially
state park
leased.
land that's leased by the county to be a county park. And that's another kind of avenue that I guess I should very much highlight as well, is that us being government employees, we're not allowed to advocate for any kind of project, which is,
Oh,
you know, we can say that, you know, from what we found, something like this, something that you had talked about would be a great asset to the area, but it's not like we can say, oh, we should build such and such trail in the area of that. So, we can definitely provide information, but we're never gonna be the ones who are out there asking people to make something happen.
and we're talking about parks and trails here because,
Yeah.
parks and, maybe you're broader than that, right? So what you do.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say our whole organization is much more focused on the tourism side, bringing overnight visitation, and what we do is part of that as well. I am also a stakeholder, or I also have stakeholder groups with craft beverages, transportation, which kind of falls into this as well. And then like some of the accommodations as well. But a lot of my background is just in kind of the outdoor recreation world, so it's a good place to start. And outdoor recreation is a very interesting aspect because I would say it just doesn't visibly show people coming to the area and utilizing it and then staying overnight like maybe other categories would. But there's a nationwide push to have more options for outdoor recreation. And it's becoming more of something that people travel for and stay overnight in places for. And a lot of people who are interested in outdoor recreation, you know, have the means to kind of like stay overnight in hotels and stuff like that. When I was growing up, there was a lot of people who loved mountain biking, rock climbing, hiking, but they were usually camping in their cars in the parking lot. So it's kind of changed, you know, like it's kind of become the new golf, is what they said. Mountain bike world is people trading their golf clubs for mountain bikes, and they're willing to spend money on sport events, so.
Yeah, so I went through the survey that you sent out, right, and it was talking about wineries and overnight accommodation, but lots of questions on that, so that's why I was actually thinking, you know, would it be good to get in front of the town council, just to talk about. And if there are other groups that would be good for Chris to meet with and discuss. So, something to think about.
I mean, tourism really drives us.
Yeah.
It's really, I mean, there's just a local area shops, and tourism really brings a lot of money into town. We have some there, so we have, of course, there's some museums and. River Rat, come to the parks. They come to the park.
Yes.
This brings up another question, this regarding the map, you know, you're talking about lodging. We have a lot of Airbnbs around here, if we can just list those. And maybe say, did you charge them for advertising?
But the Airbnb thing is real proprietary, though, that's the problem.
Yeah, I know, I'll, just as a town citizen, but, again, the town website, Like, there are links to local establishments
So-
and the Chamber of Commerce and things like that, so that may be the way. That's already in place, it's already in place.
Right.
And I would
There's
just-
sort of link.
sorry,
Go ahead.
but I would even say too, like. I also wanted to mention that I forgot to, but I'll get to that in just, but just making sure all local businesses maybe have a, like, maybe even a smaller
Yeah,
option as well.
particularly-
Yeah.
We'll get one.
Because
That's a good idea.
people could come here, eat lunch, pass through, eat lunch, and not even realize.
A good one.
Good about 20 names, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
But there is a local group that I follow as well. It's a national group that I follow. It's called the Outdoor Recreation Roundtable, and they have recently released the Outdoor Recreation Economy Rural Toolkit. Which, yeah, you know, depending on how involved you all are gonna get, that could be a great place to start and do a little bit of reading. They also have a bit of a mapping tool on there, which is to help them try to gauge what the needs are of rural areas as far as recreation goes. And then they take that information and go to Capitol Hill
did
and
you
say,
say outdoor recreation, that
roundtable.
round table?
Yeah, and I can send some links out as well, but very recently released, and I think that that's. The more we can look into some of those things and what other areas are doing to be successful, I think is helpful. Not every place is a direct match to what is you have here. But it's good to see that, and then also to be able to provide them with what the needs are of some of these rural areas as well.
The other thing is, so we do have this kind of doesn't fit into outdoor recreation, but we do have an outdoor museum, which is whatever. And if you see anything along, and our committee, I guess, is overseeing that a little bit too, but it's kind of gray area as far as recreation and museum. But if there's things for that, that needs some work.
Yeah,
It does.
and I think that, so VA 250 celebration is coming up in 2026. There's a committee meeting, there are committee meetings that are starting to happen for that currently. I think Javier is on those. That's actually the other destination development manager, who does the history and is overseeing those. But there will be grants for that. If they would apply to Canal Basin, I'm not sure, but there is a National Park Service grant that has recently opened up and may have actually may be close to closing. But it's for improvements to existing historical
That's good.
stuff.
Is that part of the parks, which guys?
That's our park, that's one of our parks, I guess. I think,
Yeah, I was tuned into that as well, like, I was like, I'm doing Parks and Rec, and BCNA is a big one to be attacked, but there are other parks, so
Bruce Park.
when we get the map done, I'm gonna be on
Small
the
ones.
parks.
Absolutely.
And I think that just making connections with the Wills from James River Bateau Company, like that, there's a mutual goal there, right? Like they can make more of their experience by also highlighting that. And maybe willing to help with whatever planning it is to maintain certain
You
things.
talk about it actually do that, so
Mhm.
evening.
Yeah, they run them, I think, they run them during the day as well, but they run them.
That's true, you know, my wife.
Yeah. So that could be, you know, at least just worth a conversation of saying, hey, this is an issue we have, and we'd love to hear what thoughts you may have on how to make that better.
All right, I'm gonna move on to the next one, this is the directional sign, Bill.
I'm gonna bring that up at the next meeting and see what, but again, we wanted to do the direction sign with I forgot, there's two categories, and the one I think we wanted was the one that we paid for and for. And we have to get a poll too, they said, so that's $2,500, I think. We may be able to get not doing the other call again about that. The other was a yearly fee of $450. Nobody likes those guys.
Yeah, you don't wanna get locked in something like that, okay.
So you'll have to check out Walmart, they can have something. That was a different avenue.
Yeah. I never did call back about that.
because the sign that exists there is theirs,
Yeah,
it's not VDOT.
Yeah, and it's.
but I think
like-
I think they will see that. too. VDOT
Just thought it
will see
couldn't
that.
hurt to ask, because it was my.
Yeah, they will see that too, they, but, so what was the question after, is can we get a sign there? Or change that sign, change that,
Either
It says-
an additional sign or change
yeah,
that
so
sign.
basically it just says public fishing,
Yeah, it's public.
so it doesn't identify the nature, but it's public fishing, so maybe we could check with them how we can change that, we wanted to change it. We did public fishing, like, but it's also hiking area too.
Right.
Yeah,
It's not
well,
really-
honestly,
it's not-
I took a picture of it,
I did
it's
too.
on the equivalent of a telephone pole, like, it's
Yeah.
not. It's, how hard would it be to have another sign made up, you know, and tack it right underneath it,
But that would cost them,
right, yes.
sounds like they don't do it.
And you're saying not have a public fishing, but
No,
No, in addition.
That was nice, I like the brown color, I like the state of Virginia behind that sign.
Yeah.
I don't want that sign.
but that's it, yeah. That's a
Yeah.
DWR side, but should have something maybe below it or with it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a park here too.
Yeah, it is a unique lake in the fact that they
Yeah.
stop it too, there's not a
Yeah.
ton of those in the state.
Right,
Dock.
yeah, and it's a combination, and it's a reservoir, so you don't even know it's a reservoir. That's the main purpose of it, it wouldn't exist if it wasn't a reservoir.
So. Make sure I've got
Yeah.
clarity in the sentence. So. We talked about the sign out on the road here, and then the other sign that was up
Right.
by the.
Yeah,
Well, it's by the church. wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're-
that one,
Okay.
so there's two, but I didn't think we touched that one, if we cost some money. I
Okay.
could ask and see if we'd find out more about it.
Okay. And then we also had a question on who maintains the road from the park up there, part of the street. I don't know if anybody was able to look at that.
No, we're gonna ask Javier.
Oh, he didn't.
I know there's some land,
Well, according to the map, it goes in and out of the BCNA and town property, so that's the thing, because there's some people who live on the entrance to that.
Right.
So that definitely is a town question, because it looks like it goes in and out
I'll close
of
that out.
town property.
It's just whether or not, what, do we have a road agreement?
Right.
And if so, what is it, and if not, what do we need to do to fix it?
Okay. Asked about having town storage for the park documentation. Oh, that was,
The Google Doc.
Yeah, Google Docs.
Right,
Yeah, but, I don't think they have any old records, I asked them, I don't think they have any old records of the park, we have a master plan, but there were some meetings and things back in the day, I think Danvers was about that. I don't think they ever had minutes or meetings or.
Well, I think it's great that we have the master plan.
Yes.
That's just that now what
Yeah.
we're going forward with,
yeah,
and edit.
Finally, we're getting some things done here,
I'm gonna check with Javier on storage too for the.
yeah, if we get a file tab at least, you can have some hard copies for things.
Okay. And then future proof task, wetland park, revisiting DCNA master plan and park enhancements, right, so. Then we got the next meeting on the 7th of March. All right, so that's all of our existing. Do we need new business?
I think they know much. I think we've got a lot done already, I can't think, it's amazing how much heavily we made in a couple months.
That's great.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
On that. I do have one mystery thing, the yellow ribbons, we don't need to know who. What's that all
It's
about?
not on BCNA property, that's
Okay.
the main thing,
Okay.
for this town official Parks and Rec committee. In my pounding every single one of the trails, I of course walk from my house, which is way up here. And we want to call it a corridor, but it's the easement, so I'm walking on any number of properties while I get down here, and I notice a few more yellow flags on some of the official trails that are way out there. So, that was it, I was just polling everybody I know who
Okay,
tended to hike in the other regions.
Which I
But
need
yeah.
to trespass.
Yeah, no, but the good news is I found that these people have got permission from landowners to put up these little metal flags.
So that
It's
they,
nice.
so that they mark the trails that people walk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all I needed to know, was that it wasn't somebody coming in kicking me off, that it had been checked out with somebody else, that's all I needed to know. Cause I was always curious, like, how does he get down here? I thought, well, it's not actually town property, so it, but,
And
it's kind of
there,
fascinating.
the one of the markings of the yellow
Mhm.
flaggings are go toward my house and they veer off to the left, but.
Yeah.
Strange.
So there actually, there's a whole lot of people who live around here that are enjoying
Yeah.
this land, and I just wanna keep that.
I know, there used to be, well, back in about 5 years ago, there was a lot of four-wheelers.
Yeah.
there, And then they put up some ballots and I guess they grew up and. they're
Yeah.
not doing anymore, but I've seen some four-wheelers out there back years ago.
Yeah.
And I-
There are
There's still some.
things
There are
There's
still.
some that come.
Yeah, you would know, well, that's what
They
they
come
call
from
them.
elevations,
They seem to be people who are allowed to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, like 10 or 11 years old, their shirts off, you know.
Yeah.
Around. They weren't trucking in and then you.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. No, he wants to do that. Yeah, I would do that, I did that with you.
They're out there.
I can say it's not our problem, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, they used to go, so they used to go, on probably that.
Yeah, they were going down and hitting the pipeline.
Yeah, that's fun. I did that with a lot, my mountain bike.
Yeah.
You know, I mentioned green ones before. I saw something
Yeah.
on PBS, very interesting, on the Saturday morning regarding Mint Creek and Rosette, wherever they have trails. And they had a naturalist come in, tell them, you need to have these plants for the, wildlife. And they're throwing out, wildflower seeds, just throwing them out.
That's the
Yeah.
And she doesn't feel like wildflowers would be very good there, but she's, flower wishes would be.
Yeah, but the
Because
document,
wildflowers, not enough sun, she's
Right.
trying to, you could.
True.
I know, animals too.
but maybe have a naturalist come
Yeah.
to review the trails.
Right. We need smart trees.
Yeah.
We definitely need to measure it along the creek at the
Is
middle.
there an
The middle,
visible?
I'm pretty sure I can find out the guy's name that manages that and get ideas from him. Oh, yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. Years ago, I don't know if it was years ago, Maine River Association, and I was part of that, we planted a lot of those trees along the meadow, like, that's quite a tree.
Okay.
And a lot of them put some,
Yeah.
we could probably put more there. That would be a good place to start, and actually, that might be a nice little bluebird box or something too.
Yeah,
Or some bushes.
yeah,
Because that kind of blocks,
similar,
you
yeah,
got public buildings there, what's, on the back.
that's one thing I would like to see, more bluebird boxes around the, especially around the trails. That would attract people to see birds,
Yeah,
like crazy.
yeah, I just love that, yeah. And I think again, that would be down the lower, I don't think it's on the trail.
Right.
I'm just gonna run through the actions real quick. and
Sure.
Way back.
So, yeah.
So we've got the map, March 1st. It'll be hard to date.
I wrote it, sorry.
And with that, we'll have the rules.
Yes, we'll have it.
Post as spring comes up. I'm gonna check with Javier on that phone line up there. To me, it's just somebody's gonna trip on it and then there's a liability.
Well, especially since we know it's there.
Yeah,
I know it's negligence.
I
don't
don't know.
know it's different.
Yeah, right, it's been talked about. All right, so as far as marking the boundaries with Bob.
I can follow up on that, I can too, but he gave me the impression he wanted to wait until it was more.
Or,
Well, also, this one, I think he needed some time,
okay,
but what, do you want boundaries for the whole park or just for the?
He's willing to do it, and it makes sense, if he's got that,
I mean,
the ability,
because
it would make sense to have.
find those stakes along the the land that was annexed to town?
I think that the two primary ones are the overlook trail, knowing where that starts and stops, and then the easement going towards Shannon. Right,
Right.
I mean, we could at least just put a little sign that says,
Yeah.
ECA ends.
Right.
I agree, I think that's important.
And I, Matthew, I agree with you, to take advantage of some of the offering, everybody.
He's willing to do it, yeah, it's fantastic. I'll walk right next to him and have mistakes in court. You know, fantastic.
Just on the overlook trail, that sign at the bottom of it,
Yeah,
I'm gonna just go. Cement it. Unless anybody has. It's a 4x4 that has the sign, it's the base of the overlook trail, where it comes down, and it's just. Lapping around.
What's your state?
That's in the dam.
all right.
You know, I always felt that, it was too big, you know,
Somebody wants to second that.
but I think all those signs, all those posts are too big. Most of the posts you see for a trail are small, and they don't stand out as much. I thought they didn't really think about that when they put them in there. I mean, they're like signposts,
Yeah.
and they're just so tall.
Right now, we're gonna work with what we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut off, a little bit.
Yeah, you make it shorter. The only thing about that one is if you're coming down the hill, I worry about a small sign, you're falling.
Right.
All right, so, and I'll follow up on the email with Doc, if, we keep getting reviewed, then I want to do it all, we'll probably actually, how we're gonna pay for it. I just made a note, it's not an action, but distribution of maps, the local businesses, right, we do.
Right.
That they have.
Is there any grant money or anything like that for something?
Not as
at the
current,
moment.
yeah, not as currently open,
Is that something we could just keep on the radar for us?
yeah, DCR. It's always a risk because it's like certain people, certain organizations have grants aimed at doing certain things and. Maps are not always the top.
Well, you don't know what the city would want some, would you?
What then?
You would want some of our maps, would you?
Yeah, we would definitely take some to put in our mobile visitor center and the like, but we just don't.
Yeah.
We unfortunately don't have the money to be giving out at the time being.
But if we give you a map and you pick copies.
Well, I mean, we could print, like, when I was working with the mobile visitor center, I would just print out the old hand drawn map.
Right.
Yeah.
So we do that
Do
already.
you wanna start advertising this map? Like I could take it down to the brewery and have them put it on.
No, yeah, I got it. Still, please consider it still a draft. And fail, like.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try and wrap, guys.
Okay.
So the directional sign, Billy will
Yeah.
update us on the next meeting, 2 more things for Javier or the storage. And who maintains Arthur Street, I've got those. And then that was it.
You're gonna follow up with me at some point about.
About
Pick more
tomorrow.
benches, doesn't have to be tomorrow, but we'll get a couple benches.
Another note on the dock, I don't know if this would be a good idea, but that 5-inch step, just maybe you can put yellow tape on there.
Right.
And a little sign that says watch your step,
Right,
because like having a yellow tape there will alert people that they need to watch their step.
And just kind of our mentioning too about like building advocates in the area. A lot of the breweries up in Charlottesville have had a lot of success with having weekly run groups. So like maybe that would be worth a conversation with the brewery as well, doing well.
Well, you guys, that is.
Okay, yeah, but is there like a, that you guys might be able to organize, that's like a weekly hike on the trail?
Yeah, so we've got a little subgroup that's already started.
We had a 5K last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
and I'm just thinking like hash house barriers, right, you get them, and they're, you know what that is, they're called drinkers with a running problem.
Yeah.
So we got, horses, the hair that goes out, and everybody chases them.
Draw, you know.
And they run always in what's called the down dam, which is drinking, so they go to a brewery or something now, so it's literally an international club, there's thousands of them all over everything.
You know, I was in high school, we had a jogger group,
Yeah.
and go jogging to a bar.
There you go.
But yeah, I think that
One
so
10 miles away.
having people see the benefit of the trail from the level.
Or having a jogging, so after.
Thanks for coming out. You're welcome anytime.
And I'll send it to them like now, so we can ground it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a small little. Right, yeah. Thank you.
Is there any, I definitely know that when I was driving by there, and also,
Yeah, we'll play it by ear.
is there more people?
They're just. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very, this is weird, it's the time of year,
Yeah.
but you could be a deal, ride down.
Most of it.
Yeah, it's super. There's
I think it's much more than time of visitor side. There's a lot of people along great trails, a lot of big trails, but people don't always think that you can have.
Well, that's because like. I said, in your.
All right. If you want some change, we running against. All right. She up and down the big. From here up that hill, so you got, okay, and that's pretty something.
I find people like.
That, it's just on the, all right, thanks.
Like yours, don't know, like.
What's that? I mean, you get a house there and then the other road. That's right. I'm on that driving right hand side, it's in between the two houses.
Okay.
What's the?
Right. Yeah.
A lot of people run out that street.
I'm still struggling with where the hell do I put the damn sign?
They
Right,
don't know
oh,
where
we're
to
see,
get
oh, right.
process on the street.
Building.
So they see the bridge.
Okay.
I think someone just get over it. I went out there again, and was talking to the tower. I saw.
Do you guys get anybody who go try to go out there and ride any of these on? Okay, yeah, and I was wondering even, that trail is very.
I wouldn't do any of these. Well, that's what I level, so you go on and on, all of them.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
It's scary. It's scary. But every time I think I got a handle of scale, I go out there. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I watched that with you. Well, that's what we thought. Yeah.
It's a-
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
got.
mean,
nice
I'm
little-
there.
Yeah.
Free,
It's true.
other than having to go check my father, just kind of, hey, you know, get it all. Okay.
That would be a thing to.
It's been a big job.
I mean, whenever we're down here, definitely.
It's emotionally.
It was amazing how many people I would tell at the farmer's market that there was trails there.
Yeah.
There's one even.
Yeah.
There's some people like that.
Yeah.
Well, as you can see, we're closed, I just need to get a few more things.
Yeah. It's one of those things too, that like, if you don't really
Right.
put it out there, especially with it kind of tucked away back there, people just, they're not
I
finding it.
know, the whole thing, it's tough, I mean,
I
like,
know, I love it.
you know,
Yeah.
100 yards away, it's on wilderness area.
yeah.
But it's a great opportunity for visitors who are
It
coming
is.
for lunch or
Right.
like, that they can just walk from their car and, yeah.
But the good news is that like, there's a whole lot of businesses who will verbally tell everybody this, but yes, now we'll have something else to them that,
Yeah.
now.
There's a lot of people that don't want it, but they, keep it quiet. I didn't wonder.
Yeah, well, thank you, guys,
Thank you.
Yeah, Chris, help me in.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Keep us in the loop, and we'll try to do the same with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that really helps to have a broader connection to the tourist purpose. You know, this town is really, like I said, there's a bad, it's tourism, I mean, kind of, we've seen businesses come and go, but I think we really got to go now.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the shops are full, I mean, I've been here, you've seen some of these towns, but, you know, there's empty stores, but we got to go now.
Yeah, I've definitely been to some places, you know, West Virginia's definitely been part of it, and, you know, Iowa has in one area that do, so. And it just takes you know, you kind of have to have an embracement of the town to invite others in.
Yeah. I mean, it's a love hate kind of thing. You want people to come in, you don't want them to, and you want them to go and spend the money. And then
Yeah, and it's it is tough, it's difficult, the thing I try to tell trail groups I'm part of or work with as well, the background I have is that if you get more people, the people who have built these trails, the city or the county or whoever, they built them so that more people would use them, and they wanna see a return on investment, and they want to see it bring people in to spend money.
Yeah.
And so if they see that, they'll be more apt to build more and do more. So, but sometimes it's just hard because it's a fine line. You can get to a point where you have way too many people on the
Right.
trails, and get to a point where you're not getting enough money.
And that's even with the mountain biking, because I was doing Tocha Creek with the combination, you're not supposed to do mountain bike there, because that's with the hiker. And there's I guess there's I don't know, I guess there's a line between bikers and mountain bikers, you want to have both, but it's hard to have.
Yeah.
I did actually, Chelsea sometimes walking in, oh, come left, it's not just dangerous, but it's irritates me.
Yeah.
A little bit,
And they're trying to alleviate some of that too by building some more mountain bike specific
specifically,
trails.
like Walnut Creek has,
Yeah, so hopefully that you won't have those trail interactions that are,
Right.
somebody hauling down the line trail and a hiker coming up, it'll be like, people will know there's probably gonna be bikes coming down, but they'll still have clear sight lines to see the people are coming up. It's all fine.
And it's the same with even joggers, I mean, we jog here, but I noticed that Ivy Creek, they don't allow them to jog there. And I understand that too, because if you go on a trail, it's kind of a solitary nature oriented kind of thing.
Yeah.
When people are running and biking, it's like it takes away from the whole,
Yeah,
it's
that experience is not meant to be an exercise, like an endurance type,
Right.
it's meant to be an
Yeah.
enjoyment of the history and the nature.
And it's hard to have both, I mean, people go to, and even we had some problems with, they were, when we started this park, that big, it was like, well, it's hiking, but some people say, well, no, it's fishing, and it's fishing and hiking, it hikes right along the fishing, people aren't quiet, If
Yeah,
you're hiking, especially if you're hiking in packs, like some people do, it's like, it's not good for a fisherman, they want solitude.
and if it was up to me, I would like, the more you can bring all those user groups
Yeah.
together and
Yeah.
to see the benefits of
Yeah.
each having options for each.
Yeah.
Then when you have somebody who like something offered for one, you have backing from those other
Yeah.
groups to say, yes, do that for that option.
Yeah.
And then you have those same other people who just got something doing the same thing for the other user groups.
Right.
So,
We all gotta live, in this world, all, have diverse interests and passions and stuff like that, but, so I'm all right, but. Well, we even talk about this, about having, and Brian was one of them. Horseback riding, and we never even went that, but I know he would love to have horseback riding, but that's a little different. You got that,
Yeah.
That's another group,
and you got,
another dimension.
and they have horse riding at Patricia Byron,
Oh, I know
and,
it is. Yeah.
they require some kind of, the horses have to have had testing for some kind of,
Really?
it's parasite or some kind of disease.
That's a different ball.
Yeah, and you got the waste too, you gotta think about that, because hikers don't want to be walking through that stuff like that.
Exactly. He brought that up, well, not that big, but he brought it up. He has horses and he borders that creek. And, and somebody mentioned that you'd have to have wider trails, and you'd have to have, bow, cut the above, that could be saying.
Yeah.
So
But it's, yeah.
You can do it.
And there's enough people who would utilize it for that. need.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So, anyway. Yeah, so we gotta go.
Sounds good, yeah, I'm gonna stop by a couple
Yeah.
businesses and have,
Yeah, well, thanks for coming out.
Yeah. like, it's an hour. I had, yeah, it's cool. We do have that, I'm on the first, right? Yeah, I kind of look at the, we have as well.
Yeah, I like the kiosk, and it looks, it really good fair.
How it works, and there.
Very soft.
Yeah, yeah. Cause, but when I heard it. The grandfather, yeah.
The shade, that's what
Yeah, just for people.
Yeah.
Yes, you're like. Charles Ross. Here as well, for the top, we got a lot of.
You have it, I would say,
Yeah, I did.
it's about that. I don't think you do.